me romance. Read me romance. Read me romance. Read me romance. You could take a look in a book, that's fine. Or you could sit back, relax, and unwind and read me romance. Read me romance.
Welcome back, lady listeners.
Hi, lady listeners. Welcome to a new week at Read Me Romance. We have Chiara Forestieri with us today, and she has brought us a brand new book called Moth and Flame. I always feel like, let's bring her out, ladies and gentlemen. But no, so she's brought us a book today that we're going to play for you in just a little bit. She was so much fun to work with and really excited to be on the podcast. So it was really nice to talk to her. And she was just one of those people that I could tell was like really bubbly and fun, and which is crazy considering what she writes. You know, when it's like I look at her stuff that she sent us to talk about today, and one of the things that she mentioned was the book My Blood Is Yours, and I was like, what is this sweet woman that I've been talking to? What is this? But it sounds really fucking good.
It does. I started reading the book bio too. I was like, I think I want to read this. You're like,
shit, this does sound good. It says it's dark and spicy meets sweet and tender gothic monster romance. I was like, yes, everything about that, yes. So I'm excited to talk about Chiara Forestieri in just a few minutes, and we'll tell you about all her good stuff and everything to do with Moth and Flame. But before then, I have been reading a couple of things lately. I finished my book club book that we had for last month. I finally finished. We had book club, and there was only a couple of us that ended up being able to go because everybody else canceled. But I didn't finish the book in time, but I did finish it a couple days later, and it was still really good.
Did everybody not come to book clubs? They didn't want to talk about the book, or?
And I think it was just the weekend that it fell on. We ended up doing it on a Sunday versus like a Saturday or something, and everybody was like had plans or whatever. So there was only a couple of us that went, but the book was called First Lie Wins by Ashley Elston. I think that's how you say it, Elston. There's no romance. It's just a mystery, but it's really, really good. I really enjoyed the mystery. It's about this woman that's kind of a scam artist, and she gets hired by this really bad guy to like pretend to be other people. She's like a Jason Bourne kind of thing, I guess. I don't know how to express, like a spy maybe, but she like pretends to be other people, infiltrates these families and stuff. She was a nanny at one person's house. She worked for another company to like gain access to their secrets, and the nanny thing, she was trying to steal stuff. So it's really cool that she's kind of like a bad guy. Mm-hmm. And so she's the one that's narrating the story. So the whole time I'm listening to it on the audio, I'm like, is this an unreliable narrator? Where like, is what she's telling me really the truth? Because she's telling me she's a con artist, she swindles people, she steals stuff, and I'm like, is she doing that to me right now? And she's telling the story. So it had some good twists and turns that I didn't see coming. So if you're looking for just a good mystery, that's the one to do it. So, and then after that one, I don't know what happened, but my fingers slipped and I landed on Last Hit.
I know. You texted me earlier. I was like, God, that makes me want to go back.
Let me tell you how fucking good this book is and how much it holds up. It is still 10 million out of 10. It's Last Hit by Jen Frederick and Jessica Clare. They wrote this book together. It is about a Ukrainian hitman who is hired to kill this guy. And so he sits in a building across the street and watches him. And while he watches him, he sees this girl and he becomes obsessed with her. Obsessed. Like just absolutely bonkers for her.
Like everything he thinks, like if he goes into him, he's like, what would Daisy eat?
Would Daisy like this? Would Daisy like this? I wonder if Daisy's ever tried this.
Forget the one time they did like a bonus book for it for like
the Christmas one. Is that one right? Yes.
And he was like, Daisy wants to make friends, and this girl is hitting on him, and he doesn't like her, and he's like, I don't like her, but Daisy wants to make friends. And he's like, yes, I'll take your number. And he like brings it home to Daisy. And he's like, I got a number for you to have a friend.
Here,
like,
I made a friend for you today. And Daisy just looks at him like, you just got hit on.
He's like, what? No, I made you a friend.
He's just The only thoughts are of her. It's so funny, but the reason I thought of this book was while I was at book club, my neighbor was telling me, she's like, "Oh, I'm in a reading slump. I was trying to read a couple different books and they just didn't turn out good." And I was like, I've got one book that I tell everybody to read when they're in a reading slump. I was like, it's guaranteed to get you out of it. And I was like, I have the paperback at home. You're welcome to borrow it, because she only reads paperback. And she's like, all right. So I take it out and dust it off, and I'm like, I start flipping through the pages, and the first thing I do is I go to chapter 2 because it's Nick's chapter, and I go to it and I start reading it, and it's him watching Daisy, and I was just like immediately transported back to when the first time I read this book and how the chokehold this book had on me when I read it. And so I sent it to her.
Smitten and so badass at the same time.
Such a fucking badass. Like, just murders people with his bare hands. He's all the time thinking, like, well, I could kill him in 3 moves if he comes this way. He's like, I'll do this to protect Daisy. She's not even there. It is so wild. But I gave it to her, and she texted me, and she said, I woke up this morning and the first thing I did was reach for the book. And and I was like, that's how you know it's a good one. When you just can't put it down. That's awesome. Yeah, it's a good, and the audio is great too. So when she started reading it, I started listening to the audio, and I thought
that's what it made me think. So like, I haven't been as big on audio lately, but I just know that some books, like I have a ton of Lauren Donner, of course, where I like go to certain chapters and just start playing. Because I'm like, I don't want to start at the beginning. I know how this starts. I know who they are. I would need to start like in it.
Yeah. So in Fury, you go to when Ellie's jogging.
Yes.
Yep, that's the exact chapter I start at too. This is hilarious because I fucking know that's where you start.
That's so good. I like literally when you said that today, I was on my walk and I was like, I actually think when I'm done listening to this case stuff, I'm going to put this on.
That's awesome. I remember I sent you the paperback for your birthday one year because I had found it like on eBay. It was like an old ass copy of it. And then you cannot buy this anywhere. Like, I don't know how I found it, but I like hunted it. No, it was through it was a book reseller. I think I found it on some random website because I thought I was getting scammed. But anyways, so I remember when I got it, I was like, well, I mean, I got to read some of it, right? Like, I just started thumbing through it because, I had it in ebook and then I had it in audio, but I had never read it like in paperback before. And so it was a different experience to see it like that on the page because I kept hearing the narrator in my head as I was reading it.
God.
But that's Fury by Lauren Donner.
I deleted my Goodreads a long time ago, and I wish I could get it back. Only because I feel like I own so many books that I wish I could get my Goodreads back to go look at my own old shelves of books I've like 5-starred and like go back. Like randomly, I accidentally came across Table of 3, and I was like, "Oh, I love this book!" And I was like, "I bet there's so many other books like this that are just kind of misplaced in my mind. If I just seen the cover or whatever, I'd be like, yes." I bet I bet I could spend a whole year rereading.
Yep. Who is that? Was it Nicole?
Lainey Reese.
Lainey Reese.
The Table of 3.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. She had another one I liked too. Fuck, I can't remember the name of it now. But she had Table of 3 was good because that was the one where like she's sitting in the chair, right?
She goes into their club and she's like a virgin, and both of them end up fucking her.
God,
they've been like looking for their woman. It was so good.
That was such a dirty book. Yeah, that one was good. I wonder if it holds up. Like, did you go back and read it?
No, I pulled it up. I pulled up Under Pressure. Remember that book I read all the time?
Yes. Oh my God, that was a really good one.
That hero in there. I liked how whenever he wasn't emotional, everybody was like, he's not an emotional guy or whatever. Whatever he would talk to her, and she would get like one time he upset her, like he was mad, and then she starts to like cry, and he like melted. But when he like got upset, which he never did, he only did it towards her. His accent would bleed through. It was like Irish or something, and it would come out real thick when he got emotional. I was like, this is so cute that when he's emotional towards her, it comes out. It's just little things sometimes in books that really snag you up.
Well, and it's stuff like, I was saying those are books that they're nostalgic in a way, but also they're ones I can keep going back to. Like Last Hit, I can go back to that. And the other one is the Care Chronicles by Jen Frederick. I actually pulled that up because they were together on my audio. The Losing Control and Taking Control. My God.
I love those because it was like the perfect cliffhanger because it wasn't really a cliffhanger. It was what's our next chapter going to be? We're together.
Yeah, but it's like, what's next?
Yeah,
but there was
really
so much. They were so obsessed with each other, and it was such a cool concept too, because she was a bike messenger, and he was like, this loaded billionaire or whatever. But it was just a really cool concept. But he was obsessed with her, and she was kind of a damaged heroine, which I love too. So, and then revealed to him. I was gonna say, was it revealed to him? Was that the other one you liked?
Yeah, but I was gonna bring up this one because it's Jen Frederick too. Remember Want You? Where it was the guy who adopted the girl, but she really wasn't adopted because they were, oh my God, you got it up.
I had this because I got it out for my neighbor because I fucking love this book. I fucking love this book.
It's double virgin too, guys. Want You.
Oh my God. So he's her ward. She's the guardian, or he's the guardian. She's his ward.
Their age gap isn't that big.
No, but like because he finds her. He's like 16 or something when he finds her.
He finds her as a little girl. Or she's not super little, but little.
Yeah, he like just finds her in an alley. And so he ends up taking care of her. And then he sends her away to boarding school. And then when she comes back, he's like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
So it's like, I mean, it's so dirty. But
I really want to reread that one now. I literally.
Right? I seriously, so I got Last Hit out for my neighbor, and then I had Want You too. And I was like, she's going to want to read something else after that. This is a good one. I have all the Last Hit books too. And I actually have the other book that Jen Frederick wrote called Downed. That's the one she dedicated to me, where it's like she put my first and last name on it. She was like, to Leah Robinson. I was like, damn. But I know it was because I gave her so much shit because she dedicated like 4 books to Cindy, which is like her bestie and also her editor. And I was like, you've dedicated all these books to Cindy and I haven't gotten one. And so she just did it to be a bitch.
Funny.
But I'll take it. I'll take the W. But anyways, so those are the books I've read lately. I've got a couple other I'm gonna read, but that's what I've been reading right now. And then I've been watching Shoresy, the show I told you about last week. I've been binging that over and over because it's my favorite. So, have you read anything since last week?
I haven't done anything. I
still listening to Case.
I'm like neck deep in Karen Reed and Motions and.
Is there anything that they're showing now that you didn't already know from the first one?
Yeah. So they got a new special prosecutor, and new footage has come out. So, the guy she was flirting with, the one that threw his phone away in the army base right before it was supposed to be
conveniently.
taken from him.
Because it's so easy to get on an army base.
Because mind you guys, the trash is public property, but not the army's trash.
That's right. That's right. On a military base, it is secure.
There was all these jokes about butt calls because, like, Brian Higgins called the other Brian. Well, new footage came out that they just found from the Sally Port of Brian Higgins on the phone at like 2 and 3 in the morning talking.
They've just discovered this.
The same guy that didn't call anybody that night.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So interesting because they keep coming up with, where are you guys finding this footage?
Yeah, that's what I wonder if they had it all along and it wasn't admissible the first time and now it is.
They didn't give it. They just handed over to them. And they said it's because the detective retired. I hate their new prosecutor, but I do think that he is by the book. So if he would come across evidence, he would hand it over. Mm-hmm. But just stupid shit like that. I'm like, where's the rest of it? Where's the raw footage? Why do you have this footage and we still can't get footage of her taillight? Not even from the library, not even from the public. It's all gone. Mm-hmm. It's weird. And I came up with the theory that I was like, I actually don't think anybody killed John O'Keefe.
You think he just dropped dead?
No, I think that that motherfucker was mad. He got out of the car. They're fighting. He threw that glass at her car, whatever. I think she drove off. I think because even the other Brian said he went and let his dog out at one point. I think that he threw that glass. That dog came around the backyard after hearing it, probably grabbed him. He fucking slipped halfway through the yard and hit his head. And I know medically you can hit small parts of your head and your whole face slow up. Swell up. The blood can move. It's weird. So I think the dog grabbed his arm, knocked him on his ass. He hit the back of his head, and he probably froze to death. And then these dummy cops were like, well, let's make this lock solid. I'm going to take these parts. And they OJ Simpsoned it and messed with the evidence. They were like, we're going to make this slam dunk. And,
and then all of a sudden,
it's a mess.
Because who would have believed it was accidental? That's
what I think. They all look so mad at each other. And
you know what, though? Like, the simplest explanation is usually the one.
Yeah, and that's what's weird is because when I first started this, I was like, she had to hit him with the car. But then once a physics person broke it down to me, like, it's physically impossible that he was hit by a car and he looks like that. So I'm like, okay, he wasn't hit by a car. I can't tell you Karen didn't kill him. I can't tell you who killed him. I just know he wasn't killed by a car. So I'm like, so what's the next simplest answer? But then I actually go the other way. Like, when I start thinking about all the shit that they fucked with, I'm like, why is everybody doing all of this?
Yeah. I don't know. You know, and the thing about it is no matter what happens in this trial, guilty, innocent, whatever, we will never know what happened that night.
And that is 100% the cop's fault. That is
100% from hiding evidence, throwing it away.
I don't understand how, like I said, I won't say that Karen Reed didn't kill him, but I will say John O'Keefe wasn't hit by a car. And that's their theory, is that she hit him with a car. And I can say, no, she didn't hit him with a car. I mean, I would probably believe you more if you said she got out and hit him with a baseball bat in the face or something. But the car didn't hit him. The tail light didn't bite his arm. But I don't know.
You are neck deep in this trial.
I don't know. It just gets frustrating. What makes me more frustrating, because I stay out of all their bickering and stuff. I'm just watching it over here. But the anti-Karen Reed people, I just don't understand how they're so sure of it and they're not angry. I'm like, I don't care where you stand. Everybody should be livid with the police. Like, livid. Yeah.
I agree with you. I'm on your side with this. I'm also not well enough informed to disagree with you.
I'm like, why is everybody mad and upward, just period, at the police?
Yep. I'm with you on that. Fuck them.
Because it's so weird, because even like politically, I'm like with all these people that don't even politically align with me and stuff. It's so weird. And I'm like, this is a group that's bringing so many different people together. Usually when you're in a group, it's with the same kind of people, you know? And I'm like, no, I don't even like the people on my same side. I'm like, I can't stand 80% of you. But I guess we're on the same side. But whatever. So yeah, I can go on forever about it. I'm like, don't ask me. Like, Celia asked me a question. I went on for like 5 years. I'm like, don't ask me this stuff.
Don't ask me this shit. Well, all right. So next time I won't ask you about that, but you can tell me if anything new has developed. That's important for us to know.
No, they start jury selection next week. And that's going to take like 3 weeks.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll check back in at some point then. All right, let's talk about Chiara. So like I said earlier, the book we have today that we're about to play for you is called Moth and Flame. And it's Chiara Forestieri. I'm going to say that right. She said, I remember she made a note when I was asking her about the narrators and stuff. And she said, if they're Italian, they'll be able to pronounce it. And I was like, oh my God, okay, good to know. But she did type it out phonetically for me. Chiara Forestieri, and it's spelled Chiara, and then the last name is Forestieri. So it'll be down in the show notes just in case you need it. But it says, originally from Louisiana, Chiara lives in London with her 2 children and spends much of her spare time rolling around on the ground with sweaty men doing Brazilian jiu-jitsu. Her books feature delicious and highly descriptive spice, emotional depth, laugh out loud banter, unique worlds, and epic plots, often in the form of monstrous male main characters who will burn the world down for the curvy women they love, and vice versa. So, like I said, today's book you're about to listen to is Moth and Flame. This will be available in ebook. And the book that's related to Moth and Flame is called Gilded Fangs and Mortal Flesh. It's book 2. And it says book 2 is releasing in May, but in the meantime, there's an extended and spicier version of the book you're about to listen to, Moth and Flame, available in Kindle Unlimited. It will also contain a sneak peek into the next book she said, for the first few chapters. She has a new release that I mentioned earlier called My Blood Is Yours. She said it's been a number one new release and bestseller on Amazon for nearly all of March. It's available in KU. It's a dark and spicy meets sweet and tender gothic monster romance. And she also wanted to mention April 1st through April 6th, Moth and Flame's ebook will be on sale for 99 cents. And then April 1st to April 7th, My Blood Is Yours will be on sale for $1.99, and the paperback will be reduced from $13.99 to $10.99. So you can check out those while they're all on sale. Let's see. Upcoming in April, Blood Sweeter Than Honey, and that is a spicy and sweet cowboy goddess romance, cowboy/goddess romance with a few trigger warnings. I had to Google this. One of the trigger warnings is somnophilia. It's when you have sex with somebody when they're asleep.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, now that I know what that word is, I can put that into a search bar.
Oh yeah, that's a tab I searched for on Smashwords.
I was gonna say that's a Smashwords tab, right?
That's a Smashwords keyword.
I know. So it says somnophilia, and it has like the other stuff that's listed on there. But that one I thought was funny. I'd just throw that in there for you. She said she is currently hosting an Indie Author 500, an indie author sponsorship program in collaboration with let's see, it's Rhiannon Hargadon. All right, so Rhiannon Hargadon. Sorry, she did phonetically type that out for me. I'm dyslexic, so having to read it and pronounce it at the same time is sometimes difficult. So that was it. But she said if you're an aspiring writer, make sure you check out her website. That's on there. And again, we'll have that down in the show notes for later. But it's really cool that they're doing this. It's kind of like it says, aspiring authors or published are welcome to apply when we give them the opportunity to have their romance novellas edited professionally for free. So make sure you check it out. And then let's see, what else has she got? She has you want to see the spicy art that's from her books, you can check out her website, chiaraforestieri.com, and you can follow her on Instagram and TikTok under that name as well. And also, lastly to mention, she will be signing at Villains and Vixens in Dallas in September. And I do believe that Ruby Dixon and Katie Wild will be at that signing. So you should go. I know that's a lot. I know I threw a ton at you, but she's got a ton of great stuff. And I just want to make sure I shared it all. And once again, it will be down in the show notes if you can't drive and write at the same time. But that's it. Let's send them in the Moth and Flame. Let's do it.
All right. We'll see you guys on the other side.
Bye.
This is Moth and Flame by Chiara Forestieri. Read for you by El Sanoli. Hella. 6 months ago. My fiancé's cock pulses inside me as we drink from one another's veins. If it weren't for our sanguinotti venom, I wouldn't be able to achieve orgasm. Even as I do, it feels less like an orgasm and more like the sad flutter of a once proud flag, now tattered and torn. Love is for the poor because they have nothing else to live for. My mother repeats those words to me every time I plead with her and my father not to force me into a loveless marriage with Alistair. To them, marriage is about strengthening allies, bloodlines, and fortunes, not love. After a myriad of threats and curses sworn by my parents, our entire family, the entirety of the Blackspire Blood Vaults board, and 7 months of procrastinating and desperately trying to escape my fate, I finally succumbed to the inevitable and accepted the engagement proposal to the so-called charming and charismatic sanguinotti male, currently sliding his still hard cock out of me. I hadn't had high hopes, considering his family is notorious for their unsavory methods of conducting business. But they are wealthy and powerful, much like my own family, which is all that seemed to matter to them. Our engagement won't be publicly announced, nor our marriage, to assure my safety. My fiancé and his family have many enemies, and if they know who I am, it puts a target on my back. As Alistair's eyes lift to mine, there's no warmth or sign of the charm he so generously bestows on others. I've given him what he wants: blood. And every time I give Alistair my blood and my body, I feel less and less like myself, like he takes a part of my soul with him every time he fills me with his cum and then silently leaves. Thankfully, I won't have to see him again until tomorrow morning. If I'm really lucky, not even until the following day, because he'll be too busy with his morally depraved clients and distracted by his harem of mistresses. Skin crawling with the need to rid myself of his essence, I wipe between my legs with a soiled sheet and lie in bed, waiting for him to shower and leave for work. With my eyes steady on the clock, time moves at a glacial pace. When the bedroom door shuts, announcing his departure, a heavy sigh escapes me. I finally rise out of bed, able to dress in peace without the weight of his soul-crushing presence. Every day, my driver takes the same route to my office. As usual, numbness suffuses me as I stare out at the pristine steel, stone, and glass architecture that define our crowded, lonely city. The singular bright spot amongst a palette of grey is the luminous, flame-filled glass sign reading Moth and Flame, framed by elegantly sculpted stone and opaque mirrored windows. As ever, something inside me stirs at the sight of it, even with its foreboding wrought iron doors. When it first opened, only a handful of months ago, I'd searched on Spider's Web to discover it's a kink house. Essentially, anyone over the age of 2 decades can show up and be manually stimulated by someone who will act out their kinks. It's a rather ingenious idea. I imagine it saves many individuals from sexual repression and aggression, not to mention bringing fulfillment and intimate connection to the otherwise lonely populace of Dreadmere, Gothika's capital city. Since I first laid eyes on it, I've secretly longed to go there, if only to meet its owner, Draven Morainu. Shrouded in mystery, not a single one of the detectives I hired could uncover anything about him. Eventually, I resorted to utilizing the only colleague my fiancé has ever introduced me to, Lazarus, Gothika's most nefarious crime lord, renowned for knowing everyone and everything about them, to help me find out who owns Moth and Flame and uncover any other gems he could find. In the span of a single breath, I discovered Draven Morainu is a retired Reaper, one of the elite within the Blackspire Empire's Special Forces Division, and an exceedingly rare being, a Lycanthros. One who wields shadows and possesses a bestial form. According to Lazarus, in Draven's case, His bestial form is some kind of monstrous lycos creature that looks half fey, half giant wolf. Lazarus grinned when he mentioned something about him being a little older. I recently faced my 100th year. Age is just a blur after that. Now, I imagine you're asking, isn't that mildly unsettling stalkerish behavior? Without a doubt. Do I care? Not in the least. Was it dangerous and reckless to visit the lair of Lazarus himself? Abso-fucking-lutely. Do I now owe him a favor because he refused my money? Yes. Am I terrified of when and what that favor will be? Also, yes. Was it worth it? Fuck, yes. My face is rather recognizable, and if anyone were to catch me patronizing a kink house, I'd probably be flayed by family, ostracized by the public, to then be brutally murdered by my horrid fiancé. Not because he gives a batty fuck about who I have sex with or who manually stimulates me, but purely because one of the few things he actually cares about is public perception. Akash forbid I seek pleasure from anyone but him when he spends every evening glutting himself and his cock on his mistresses, a fact for which I am supremely grateful, as it allows me a brief reprieve. So, in the shadows I shall remain, admiring Mr. Morainu from afar. My heart withers at the thought. Hella. Present day. I lied. In the shadows I did not remain. Did I mention I have very little impulse control? Hence all the stalking on Mr. Draven Morainu. I tried to resist. Really, I did. I tried to resist. Really, I did. I spent months sneaking out of work and shirking my duties to haunt the vicinity of Moth and Flame, all in the hopes of catching a fleeting glance of the male. But it seems he rarely leaves the building. I've only caught him a handful of times. I can only assume he lives in one of the penthouses at the top of the towering stone and glass building. When my patience finally dwindled away, I took the leap, conjured a disguise, and slipped inside. Draven is everything I've ever fucking dreamed of, even if I have to pretend not to know his name or anything about him. One of the numerous legal forms Moth and Flame clients are obligated to sign prior to membership states that all masters and mistresses of the house are forbidden from giving out their real names or personal details to prevent any unwanted attention. I am only ever allowed to refer to Draven as Master Daddy, my lord, or sir. And for the last 3 months, I've spent nearly every evening after work sneaking into Moth and Flame in increasingly elaborate costumes, entering through VIP members' discreet alleyway entrance reserved for their more affluent clients who prefer their predilections to remain private, as they should. As unfathomable as it seems, I'm his only personal client. One evening, after yet another 4-hour session, I tried to make a subtle comment by saying, "Thank you for spending so much time with me. I'm sure you've had a very busy day with your other clients." To my surprise, Draven replied, "You're the only client I personally host." Each evening, our sessions are booked for 1 hour, and yet, by the time I leave, several hours have passed. I am also certain we've crossed a great many professional boundaries over the last 3 months, but much to my dismay, my master has yet to actually fuck me. Well, at least not with his cock. Or at least not the one attached to his body. And while I have been on the receiving end of a very large, shadowy, Icos-shaped cock, bulging nut and all, I still haven't gotten to experience the real thing, much to my dismay. Tonight, however, I will beg. If you thought groveling was beneath me, you are very much mistaken, and while admittedly there isn't anyone else in this realm I would get on my hands and knees for, there isn't a thing in this dreary, lonely world I wouldn't do for Daddy Draven Morainu. Heaving a love-lorn sigh, I fix my gaze on the display screen where my singular photo of Draven lingers, a rather grainy image I managed to take myself when I'd just happened to catch him outside of his business. My mind travels to a time and place where I can escape my cursed fiancé, my foul family, and live a life beside Draven, if he'd have me. My fantasizing is rudely cut short by an abrupt knock. My eyes reluctantly flick to the tall, blonde, slender silhouette I can see lurking beyond my office door. My sister. Fuck. Hella. Tell Lord Payne I don't give a fuck what he assures me of. I'm not interested. There's nothing he can do to change my mind, and I hope he dies in a fucking fire. I did not spend the last century ensuring Blackspire blood vaults has ethically sourced blood just to have Lord Fuckhole ruin it all by becoming a major shareholder. My sister Leif scowls at me as one would a naughty child. You're being unreasonable. My jaw clenches with frustration. Have you tasted the blood from his cryovaults? I can taste the suffering. That male and his gods-forsaken enclave should be drawn and quartered in the prime square. Leif pinches the bridge of her delicate nose. You're forgetting the fact that some people enjoy the taste of suffering. How could I fucking forget? It's at least half the reason why my fiancé, Alistair, is so fucking horrible. He wants to taste the misery in my blood every time he drinks from me. Every emotion has a very specific taste, and negative emotions like misery, pain, and fear add certain notes to the bouquet of flavors. In our modern society, it's illegal to drink from someone without their consent. There are far too many people, not only humans, who would still be dwindling in population if our society's morals and the Blackspire Empire's legislation hadn't evolved to protect the Minori, those with little to no magic-wielding abilities. Still, there are many people who crave the taste of fear and despair in blood. People like my fiancé. Cash, damn him. As if Leif can read my mind, she adds, like your fiancé, he'll be furious if you decline Lord Payne's offer. House of Payne is his favorite. I give her a curious look. You say that as if it's a deterrent. Leif rolls her eyes, tossing a pretty tendril of ash-blonde hair over a pale shoulder. You know I can't fathom what it is you have against Alistair. He's charming, handsome, rich, passionate. My sardonic laughter cuts off her itemization of my sadistic fiancé's winsome qualities. Standing abruptly, I usher her to the door. Leif, if you adore him so much, by all means go and fuck him. In fact, I implore you. He's bored of his mistresses. One of them even died. Tragic accident, I'm sure. He's no doubt in dire need of your condolences. Do what you will with him, so long as you decline Payne's offer. Leif's brows lift with mild surprise as she fails to suppress the ghost of a grin. I slam the door in her face. My anger is bright and hot, making my fangs ache with the need to tear someone's throat out. But when my eyes catch on the image of Draven on my screen, the fog of seething rage lifts from me like a cursed veil stolen by the wind and is swiftly replaced by a Draven-shaped duvet of joy and desire. Tomorrow, my darling. Because first, there are plans to be made. My eyes settle on the shelf behind which lies a hidden safe containing the treasure trove of money and priceless jewels I've been secretly hoarding since my family forced me to sign my life away to a male who only wants me because I'm the largest shareholder in a company that owns 40% of the blood bank market. Hella.
You fucking cunt! How dare you try to deny Payne's offer?
I don't even offer Alistair a glance, merely continuing to sift through our cryovault for my favourite blood. When I don't respond, Alistair appears behind me, fisting the collar of my silk shirt.
Unhand me at once, or I shall liberate you of the vile appendage.
Alistair replies by burying his face in my neck and inhaling deeply before sheathing his fangs in my flesh. His bite is deliberately vicious. If I attempted to force him off me, I'd tear my own throat out in the process. I fucking hate you. Alistair hums his pleasure against my throat in response. A moment later, the venom seeps in, eliminating the pain and causing arousal to burst through me like fucking dynamite. Alistair yanks my skirt up, and under the force of the venom, I only manage a feeble struggle that ends the moment his cock slides inside me, when the swift build of my climax begins. Draven, Draven, Draven. His name is a mantra in my mind. Alistair's fangs release me as he shoves me onto the white marble countertop. The blood from the ungracious wound trickles onto it, painting it red as he bends me over, and his thrusts turn sadistic. Never again, no matter the cost. I will soon be free of you. My eyes clench shut, and I visualize its Draven's powerful form behind me. Gradually, my body relaxes, and another orgasm rises within me. A tremulous smile lifts my face, and the hatred tainting me bleeds away. A soft moan of pleasure escapes me as the vision of Draven becomes clear. It's a balm to my soul, until Alistair fists my hair, pressing my face hard against the marble counter as he goes rigid behind me, filling me with his cum and leaving my heart and soul more hollow than ever. Alistair slides out of me, tucking himself back into his trousers.
Leif gave me the courtesy of notifying me of your betrayal. You know how I would feel if this deal fell through. Thankfully, the entire board outvoted you, and Lord Payne was remarkably forgiving and happy to proceed.
Seething, I tug my dress back into place. I have spent my entire career trying to right the wrongs of Blackspire blood vaults, and ever since you— Alistair throws his head back with a sardonic laugh.
Since I what, Hella? Since I saved your family's company, their entire legacy from bankruptcy because of your misguided idealism, your family would have nothing without me and my family.
Tears of righteous anger burn my cheeks as my hands tremble with the desire to tear Alistair's head from his body.
Words cannot describe the depths of the hatred I have for you.
Alistair huffs, rolling his eyes.
So you've said. I'm bored of you, Hella. So very, very bored. With a deep breath, I push down my anger. Alistair, please don't do this. Lord Payne hurts his donors. The male is a stain on our community, our people, and our life's work. Gods, you're dramatic. Payne provides the best blood on the market. I don't know why you assume his methods of extraction are nefarious. Perhaps his donors suffer from depression. Is that his fault? All of them, Alistair? You really find it plausible that all the blood in his vaults is tainted, seasoned? Alistair corrects. With virtually every form of suffering? Alistair gives me an incredulous look. That's the best part. And I'm not the only one who thinks so. Did you even look at his revenue reports? They're insane. You should be thanking the gods he's merging with us. My vision gradually turns red. Instinct screams at me to bleed him dry. Unfortunately, I have no doubt I would die if I tried. So the next best thing bursts from me. I'm leaving you. For the first time in our excruciating engagement, Alistair's face slackens with shock, as if I've just slapped him in the dick. A moment later, his head tips back with raucous laughter. When he straightens, tears of amusement brim his eyes. Oh, darling, you're hilarious. I wasn't joking. Hella, if you truly think I'll ever let you leave, you're more delusional than I thought. My blood turns to ice. You're delusional if you think I'll stay. I'd rather die than spend the rest of my life with you. A malevolent grin tilts a corner of his lips. That can be arranged.
Draven. Artemis, what time is it? My house's IOCI, Inorganic Cognitive Intelligence, replies a moment later in her cool, feminine voice. 4 p.m., my lord. You have 2 hours until your appointment with Miss Vex-Nocturni. My heart leaps with excitement. Every day, the moment that female sneaks into Moth and Flame, dressed in a trench coat and moustache, with her hair tied up inside that ridiculous fedora, it's the highlight of my fucking life. Vale gives me a knowing grin. Counting down the minutes? I spit a mouthful of blood onto the sparring mats. Always. Vale chuckles as warmth and appreciation glow in his eyes. He knows how I feel about Hella, and just how isolated a life I've lived. While polygamy is common practice among sanguinati, I am incapable of sharing. Her engagement is the only reason I haven't told her how I feel, or given her my knot, despite the way my magic and my beast demand that I do. You sure you want me to keep bludgeoning you? Vale is a sentient. Essentially, if a god and a robot could procreate and have offspring, you would get someone like Vale, a feeling, thinking, and creative being made up of inorganic flesh and blood that never tires, never needs to sleep, nor does he have any other biological requirements, although he can partake and quite enjoys doing so. We only ever spar in my unshifted form, and I don't use my magic. It would be an unfair advantage and provides me more of a challenge. Today I bested him in the first 15 of our sparring rounds, but he's been handing my ass to me in the last 5. Drawing in a deep breath, I wave him forward, and he lunges for me. My side screams in protest as I force my muscles to contract, leaping forward to meet him and deliver a flying knee to Vale's perfectly sculpted face. Thanks to my injuries and fatigue, he sees the move before it lands, weaving out of the way before nailing the other side of my rib cage with a devastating right hook. Dropping to a knee, I finally raise a hand, followed by a swath of shadows. "Match," Artemis swiftly declares. Her tone is ripe with both boredom and amusement. "Very good, sire. If you'd been fighting a human, they'd be thoroughly deceased." Having served the Blackspire Empire since its inception nearly 1,000 years ago, my combat skills are unmatched, as is my magic. An exceedingly rare advantage considering the fact that the populace of Gothika has faced dwindling control over their magic since the exiled arrived. Still, Artemis never misses a chance to make me the butt of a joke, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Vale's lips twitch with restrained laughter as I send a bloody grin in the direction of one of her cameras. "Thank you, Artemis." Vale swipes a thickly muscled arm across his forehead, which only serves to smear his silver blood. "See you downstairs?" I nod and turn to leave as Artemis chimes, "You've a new client today, Master Vale. Would you like me to read you the details?" Vale retrieves a moist towel that Artemis has supplied in the dumbwaiter. "How long until they arrive?" "Not until 8 this evening, sir." "I'll check my spider mail later, then. Thanks, Artie." Artemis's voice turns sultry. "I live to serve, my lord." Vale's brows lift as he directs a coy grin at the floor, speaking in a husky tone. "If only you had a body to worship, my darling." Artemis hums her pleasure. "Perhaps one day I shall." "If I lick the floor, will you feel it? Would it hasten your desire to join me?" I shut the door, eager to escape their foreplay, and make myself presentable for the female I can no longer deny is my soulbound. Hella.
This is by far the most disastrous idea you've ever had.
I'm sitting across from my magistrate, Balthazar, who's peering at me from over the rim of his round, wire-framed spectacles. The only consequence that concerns me is that spending my life with Alistair will be the death of me. The delicate, bejeweled chain dripping from the stems of his glasses tinkles as he massages the bridge of his nose and heaves a sigh.
Darling, I admire your determination, really I do. But I'll fear for your life more if you try to leave him than stay with him.
Balthazar, I'm fairly certain that once we do marry, it'll only be a matter of time until he disposes of me, just as he does his mistresses. I will not be dissuaded. Balthazar's brows pinch in distress as he nervously twists the dramatic curl of his auburn mustache.
Darling, I'm sure that's not true. Come now, you can't say things like that about your future husband. The man is on the chair of numerous charitable organizations.
Truly, it's a testament to my self-restraint that flames don't spew from my nostrils on every exhale. I will not be dissuaded. He shakes his hand in dismay.
I supposed as much. You're aware your family will likely disinherit you, and that you'll be voted out by every chair on the board of Blackspire Blood Vaults.
As much as I already knew it, hearing it aloud makes something in my heart fracture. Watery emotion burns my eyes, forcing them away from Balthazar's to the floor-to-ceiling windows of his office, overlooking the Dreadmere Grand, one of the few verdant sanctuaries amidst this stony city. My mind drifts to Draven, and my heartbeat lightens to pitter-pattering in delight of its own lovesickness. Stealing away the heartache over a family I could never trust, and a company I've poured my life's blood into, being taken from me. Balthazar's voice bleeds with trepidation.
Hella, you've got this peaceful look about you. It's terrifying.
Inhaling deeply, a sense of peace washes over me as the words rise to my lips. The board needn't bother with any vote. I'm resigning. Balthazar's jaw falls so hard, I'm surprised it doesn't hit him in the cock.
Hella, surely there's an easier way? One that doesn't involve this grandiose self-sabotage.
I proceed to examine my crimson nails. If I've learned anything in life, it's that one must suffer an end in order to have a new beginning. Balthazar splutters.
Darling, but please, have reason.
Rising from my seat, hope swells bright and voluminous in my chest, like the rays of the rising sun painting the sky as it claims its victory against night. Regardless of the fact I may meet my own death in this endeavor, excitement bubbles inside me as my eyes pass over the sprawling city below and settle on Moth and Flame's facade in the distance. Balthazar, I need you to draft a letter declaring the dissolution of my engagement contract and my letter of resignation. Hella. The foyer of Moth and Flame is a toasty reprieve from the foul weather torturing the skies as I slip inside the alley entrance with a swipe of my key, satchel of jewels and cash in hand. Having finally arrived to my blessed reprieve, I heave a sigh of relief, setting my bag down to remove my absurd trench coat and hat. Moans and cries pepper the air, muffled from behind the doors of the various kink rooms, whilst my heart flutters on wings of anticipation. Just as I'm about to peel off the thick handlebar mustache, a large, calloused hand closes over my mouth, and a tall, thickly muscled body presses firmly against me from behind. A warm, baritone voice in my ear. "What's a pretty little kitten like you doing all alone without her master, His head dips low, and I feel his mouth at the curve of my neck, spreading into a grin before he grazes his fangs against the sensitive flesh, making my nipples tighten on command. "Do you need to be punished?" I give a muffled, "Yes, sir," through his palm. His hand moves from my mouth to my throat as the arm barred at my waist slips beneath my dress. A needy whimper escapes as he tugs my panties to the side, and his fingers glide through my already slick folds and over my clit. "Fuck, kitten. Is all this sweetness just for me?" "Yes, Daddy." Draven turns me around, dark eyes bright with desire and need. When his gaze dips to my moustache, dangling halfway across my mouth, I bestow a sultry grin. "I wore something special for you, darling. Don't you like it?" My tongue flicks out to tease the moustache for a split second before we both burst into laughter. And that's all it takes for the weight of the world to lift from my shoulders. By the time our laughter slows Draven has already pulled me against his chest, hands cupping my face, as he stares down into my grinning, half-mustachioed face. He manages a gravelly hum through his chuckle. I wouldn't want you any other way, love. My heart swoons, like it's ready to swing right off the edge of a cliff and into Draven's big, strong arms, which is technically what I'm about to try and do. Draven bows his head to gently tug the moustache the rest of the way off with his teeth, before letting it sail to the ground. Our eyes linger, and time seems to suspend. The tension between us draws so tight, I want nothing more than to sag in his arms and beg him to kiss me. It's been 3 months of this. I've fallen head over fucking heels for this male. It's surreal that technically, if it weren't for Lazarus, I wouldn't even know his name. My eyes devour every hard plane and sharp angle of his face, the impervious, brutal strength and power his combat-honed body exudes. If he'd been hewn from marble, you'd think his creator had sought to wreak vengeance with each strike of the mallet. Yet the tenderness he consistently shows me, that crosses every line of professionalism, is enough to make me a puddle. This male is the sum total of every single one of my fantasies, and so help me, Akash, I'm going to make him mine. Draven. I can't take it anymore. After this evening's session with Hella, I'm going to ask her to leave her fiancé, whoever he is. She hasn't told me anything about him, despite my very unprofessional prying. But already I yearn to slaughter him. Whoever he is, it's clear from the faint but jagged scars decorating Hella's throat that the way he feeds from her isn't done to give pleasure, but to harm. When I'm finally able to coax his name from her lips, a violent demise shall be met upon him. I can no longer deny who she is to me, and I know that she feels it too. I can fucking hear it in the pounding rhythm of her heart, singing its siren song to the beast in me. Dressed in nothing more than the matte black silk robe I've provided, she's lying face down on the cushioned black leather kink table. Gradually peeling back the fabric of the robe, I reveal her thick, luscious ass that instantly summons my cock to grow thick and heavy with need. Slicked with oil, I glide firm hands over the length of her back, gradually feeding some of my shadows to assist in kneading and teasing her body to new heights. Within moments, her hips shift needily as my hands and shadows work increasingly closer to the glistening pink folds of her pussy. When Hella first became a Moth and Flame member, I'd worn sterile gloves. But as this intangible thing between us grew and strengthened, we forsook numerous professional boundaries to the point where only a few remain. I still haven't told her my name, I haven't given her my cock, and I haven't kissed her. Yet, all three, I have every intention of remedying this evening. At the first graze of my fingers teasing her slit, her back arches to steal more contact. She's rewarded with a smack to one of the plump globes of her ass, and I salivate at the way it jiggles. You know how much I fucking missed you today? You can fucking wait for your pleasure, and you'll like it. Understood? Hella whimpers with need as her pussy clenches at the words. Yes, sir. With a growl of satisfaction, I send a thick tendril of shadow to lick her entrance. You do love to be such a good girl for me, don't you? She lets out a soft cry, red nails digging into the cushion of the table. Yes, Daddy. Pre-cum leaks from the head of my cock as my knot throbs with need to fill her. A male's knot is reserved solely for his soul bond. My hand soothes away the sting of her reddened cheek, squeezing its heft firmly. The movement parts the delicate pink petals of her cunt and gifts me a glimpse of her tight puckered hole. The sight makes claws prick my fingertips as my beast surges towards the surface. Oh my fucking gods, Hella! On a growl, I grasp both cheeks in my hands before summoning a ball of saliva on an impulse to mark her cunt with something of my own before burying my face in my favorite place in the whole fucking world. Hella cries out as my tongue works every inch of her ass and pussy until I feel her body tightening at the approach of release. Her breath catches when I pull away, and my shadows turn her onto her back. Throat and face flushed. There's a hint of vulnerability in her gaze, as if I might suddenly find something I don't like about her. Impossible. Hella could ask me to eat her clipped toenails, to which I'd reply, "Be a doll and pass the salt." My shadows possessively grip Hella every which way, splaying her thighs, circling her waist, teasing her nipples, collaring her throat, and now slicking against her entrance. Hella's hips begin to counter the work of my fingers as her eyes roll back arching, and she sweetly moans, "Gods, I've never seen anyone or anything more fucking perfect." Hella's eyes snap back to mine, lips parting at the fervor in my words. My shadows curl around her wrists, pinning them above her head, and splay her thick thighs wide, pinning her knees to the table on either side of her waist. Tears leak from her eyes as she writhes beneath me. Oh, gods, yes. With a breathy whimper of desperation, her head cranes downward to watch as my shadows billow between her legs, further spreading the lips of her pussy. I will a portion of my shadows to take on the precise shape of my cock, slicking it through her folds from entrance to clit. She gives a soft cry, eyes rolling heavenward, her head tilting back. It takes a Herculean amount of restraint not to immediately bury my actual cock in her tight pink cunt, drenched and dripping with need as I silently deliberate whether to just make my demands of her now and claim in every way our bond demands. My shadow gradually pushes inside her with progressive thrusts that stretch her as she adjusts and spasms around its girth, fixing her eyes to where the shadow of my cock splits her. Soft, keening sounds and unintelligible curses escape her throat. Her expression, a helpless pout in her state of overwhelm. Fuck, 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 fuck. A growl of pleasure rumbles in my chest, even as my cock weeps its neglect, strangled in the confines of my trousers. Such a good fucking girl. Look how beautifully you take my cock. We both wish it were the cock attached to my body, and not its shadow. Soon, she needs to be coherent when she makes a decision. I have to remind myself, resisting the pull of my baser and soul-bound needs. Hella gives a vigorous nod, eyes lifting from her cunt to my gaze. Please, I want it so badly. I need it. Her meaning is clear. The singular thread that restrains me is that of her fucking fiancé.
Despite not even knowing his name, I've never wanted to murder someone so badly in my life. I don't dare fulfill our bond if she won't leave him. And I will not influence her decision under the influence of lust. I will, however, give her a taste of what she wants. Her eyes widen as I ease my cock out from where it's trapped against my thigh and give the aching flesh a firm stroke. Precum swells and drips in thick strings from my broad crown to the floor. Hella's tongue slicks across her lips as her eyes return to mine. "Can I swallow you, Daddy? Please." My knot pulses in agreement, despite my rule of never coming before her. Though, teasing her, "Just a taste, kitten." Hella. The sight of Draven's long, thick cock leaking voluminous amounts of precum sparks a primal and soul-deep need to have him fill me with his knot and his seed. The vehement desire is only further spurred by the throbbing ache in my chest, entirely separate from the pounding of my heart, yearning to devour every part of him, his saliva, his blood, his cock, his cum. As though it's my first time seeing him, it's not. My eyes hungrily savor Draven's thick, bulbous crown, where his arousal seeps in copious strings, every plump vein decorating his shaft and the bulge of his knot. "Give me your tongue, sweetheart." The shadow of Draven's cock continues to languorously thrust in and out of me as he fists his cock and slaps it gently against my offered tongue. With a breathy moan, I greedily lick, suck, and kiss every drop of precum from his crown as if it were my sole source of sustenance. "Fuck! God's damn it, kitten!" Draven slides deeper into my mouth, fisting my hair and fucking my throat with the same languorous pace as his shadow works my pussy, all while the fingers of his free hand steadily stroke my clit. Draven's gaze holds mine as tears slip from the corners of my eyes. His words come out little more than a frustrated growl. "So fucking perfect. You know that. Tell me you know it, Hella." My reply is far too garbled by his dick in my throat to be understood, but I take satisfaction in saying them nonetheless. "I fucking love you." Gently stroking my jaw with his thumb, Draven's brows knit together before growling a curse and suddenly withdrawing from my throat. My breath catches as he moves between my thighs to tug my hips to the end of the table. His mouth licks hot stripes along my folds as his shadowed length pumps in and out of me before he settles over my clit, lavishing it with steady flicks of his tongue. Still, my heart clenches at his lonely cock, even as my orgasm begins to rise again. "But what about you?" Draven's lips scarcely lift to murmur his reply. "You already know. You always come first, love, in every way." It's too late for me to argue. Tingling energy swells like a rising tide. Every muscle in my body coils tight, and I can't help but take a fistful of his hair, perching myself on one elbow to watch as the male of my fucking dreams devours me. That ache in my chest burns, demanding that this male mark me as his with his fangs, his cum, his knot. I want you. I need you to mark me as yours. Draven's large hands grip my thighs hard enough to bruise. A snarl rips from his throat, muffled by his mouth's ministrations. As his eyes lift to meet mine,
His lips wrap around my tingling bud, and he sucks, setting my body and world ablaze. Oh, God's Draven, fuck! Yes! My throat tightens as if trying to snatch back the words. Oh, fuck! I'm not supposed to know his name. Surprise widens Draven's gaze as I cry out and writhe beneath him from the force of my orgasm. He doesn't falter in his ministrations, continuing to suckle my clit, easing me back down into my body. When the spasming of my core ceases, his fangs graze the sensitive flesh of my inner thighs. My heart pounds as anxiety coils in my gut. How do I talk my way out of this? His voice is a quiet but warning rumble that reminds me of the beast lurking inside him. How do you know my name, Hella? As a former Reaper, it would take nothing for him to kill me, but intuitively I know I can trust Draven with my life. Though it seems to strike me only now just how little I actually know about him. Anxiety fists my chest as I try to come up with a response. I'd always planned on eventually telling him about my little research phase, but this... Draven straightens, tucking away his still hard cock. The absence of his warmth, his touch, makes me shiver against the chill. When I try to close my legs and cover my breasts with my arms, his shadows hold me fast to the table, making a tendril of icy fear lick up my spine. Oh, gods, how do I tell him? I stalked him and bargained with an infamous crime lord to give me information about him. You what? I need you to tell me the truth, Hella. Panic as the words clawing up my throat, unceremoniously spilling my shame into the space between us. I stalked you. Fire licks my cheeks and throat alongside a shocking swell of sudden emotion. Gods damn it! I should just let him kill me. Draven's brows lift in surprise, and further explanation rushes out of me. I saw you. Just after Moth and Flame opened, I searched Spider's Web to find out what it was and to find you. When I saw it was a kink house, I was terrified to risk coming here because of all the repercussions of someone catching me, so when I couldn't find any information on you, My eyes dare a glance up from the hole I've been burning into the floor with my shame up to his face, an utterly blank mask. You. A tear streaks down my cheek as my gaze collapses beneath his cool stare. I hired someone to find out your name and your history for me. His brows pinch as he scrubs a hand down his jaw. Why? Incredulous, my eyes leap back up to his. Why? Draven's vacant stare provokes my tears further. I've never seen him look at me with such a cold expression. Because I was drawn to you, compelled by you, and I never feel anything for people in that way. I tried my best to ignore it, but I couldn't. I thought maybe if I could find out who you are, come to know some fragment of you, even if only from afar, that I'd be able to move on with my life, but I couldn't, because I love you, you idiot. I've loved you since the moment I laid eyes on you. I would leave work early just in the hope of being able to watch you come and go. My half-sobbed words are cut short by my yelp, as Draven suddenly shoves his face inches from mine, eyes darting between each of mine. Say it again. I sniffle, trying to stifle the sob clawing its way up my throat. I love you? Draven's eyes slip shut, and the shadowy binds around my wrists and ankles
finally give way as his hands capture my face, and he presses his forehead to mine. Again. Relief washes over me like a fucking tidal wave. I love you, Draven Morainu. A soft smile perches on his perfect lips. I love you too, kitten. Draven. With eyes squeezed shut to quell their burning, I throw Hella over my shoulder. She yelps in surprise, attempting to cover her exposed ass and pussy as I march my way to the lift that will take me to my penthouse above Moth and Flame. She's rewarded with a swift smack to the voluptuous cheeks I'm moments from sinking my fangs into. Wait, where are we going? You have to take my bag. My home. My shadows grasp her leather bag, following us inside the elevator. What if I'd been an assassin or something? My deep chuckle rumbles from me. Kitten, even if you were, my life is yours to take. The lift's glass doors close, swiftly carrying us 45 floors into the sky. I've spent years slaving away for the Blackspire Empire, eliminating threats posed to the public and or democracy. Now, centuries later, I've finally broken free. I've taken a lot of care to ensure my identity remains hidden, living in relative peace. The fact Hella had been able to simply hire someone to find out who I was is deeply unsettling. It also means that whoever she paid already knew who I was. She'll tell me who, that they'll need to be dealt with, lest the hierarchs of Blackspire or any of my former enemies find me. But first, I'm going to claim my soulbound. The lift's glass doors face the outside world, and my eyes scan the bird's-eye view of the city before us. I'd set this entire city ablaze to protect Hella. The elevator gives its haunting melodic cathedral organ chime, and the doors reveal the open-plan space of my penthouse foyer and living room. I stalk through to march us down the hall to my bedroom. My heart gives a beautifully painful squeeze as I lay Hella across my bed. The sight of her naked and nestled safely against the dark duvet tugs at something in my chest. Hella tugs nervously at her lip as she stares up at me. You have a beautiful home. Still standing above her to savor the sight, I don't dare crawl onto the bed with her until I've made my demands and she's given me her decision. While I seek her approval in all things, there is only one thing on my mind. I want you to leave your fiancé. A watery grin splits across her face. I already have. My breathing stills as emotion rises. Truly. She nods, tears slipping. I visited my magistrate today. He's sending Blackspire blood vaults my resignation and my ex-fiancé a notice of dissolution for our engagement first thing in the morning. In the next moment, I'm pulling her against my chest as I lean back against the headboard. She chews on her cheek, trying to tame her emotions as more tears spill, and I can't help but kiss them away. I want you to know that I never loved him. My family and their business partners forced the engagement upon me. My fiancé has no love or loyalty for me. He has only ever proven to be as cruel as his family. I hadn't thought it possible to desire this male's death any more than I already do. Who is he? Alistair Belmont. That slimy fucking weasel? Rage summons the beast inside me upon learning this precious female was forced into the vile arms of Alistair Belmont, a male that I have met on more than one occasion and have fantasized about killing every time our paths crossed. The only reason I hadn't killed him was the fact that he is under the protection of the Blackspire Empire, my former employer. Stealing Hella for myself will have repercussions, but there is nothing I wouldn't sacrifice for her, and nothing will stop me from killing Alistair Belmont now. Do you know him? The question takes a moment to reach my distant, whirling mind. I do. Hella curls tighter into my arms as I stroke soothing circles on her back and press a kiss to her forehead. Then you know there will be consequences to me trying to escape him. Dangerous ones. Yes. And you would still want to be with me? Hooking a finger beneath her chin, I draw her gaze to mine. Hella, I've spent my whole life killing for a living. What's a little more spilled blood when I'd forge a river of it just to lay my eyes on you? Does she really not know who we are to each other? My chest swells with determination as I finally speak aloud what I've known and held back for too long. You're my soulbound, Hella. My life and my fate are yours, and so they shall remain. Her throat works on a rough swallow as she slides an arm over the back of my neck, fingers threading into the short length of my hair as she holds my gaze. Alistair will try to take everything he can from me, my fortune, my livelihood, my reputation, my life if he can find me. But my heart, my body, my soul, they are eternally yours. The fervor, unlike anything I've ever known, consumes me as I spread her out beneath me and settle myself between her legs. My beast's claws slide free as my form shifts, growing in height and breadth. My trousers and shirt are reduced to ribbons in seconds. Hella's eyes widen in awe as the scent of her arousal overwhelms my senses. My Nicanthro's form looks like an unnatural thing conjured in nightmares and fairy tales, while I grow to the terrifying size of a lycos. Fur sprouts along my back in a thick pelt as my face and body take on a monstrous mélange of both fae and wolf features. Very few have seen my beast's form and lived to speak of it. Not that I'd want them to, other than my mother. Akash, rest her soul. There isn't another soul in this realm who would describe me as anything other than an abomination. And yet, Hella's eyes pass over me with nothing short of adoration. You're beautiful. A low growl builds in my chest as I will my claws to recede to fist her hair in one hand, tugging to better expose the delicate flesh of her throat. The voice of my shifted form is an even deeper, gravelly version of my own. And you're mine. My magic whispers over her skin, just as I gently sink my fangs into the side of her neck. Satisfaction is another growl in my throat as I finally get to heal the numerous faint but ragged scars from Alistair's vicious bite marks. It's something I've longed to do since the day I laid eyes on her. She gasps against the sensation, body arching into mine as she cries out, her arousal scent thickening. Her blood spilling down my throat is intoxicating, euphoria that causes my cock and my knot to swell and harden to the point of pain. My hips give a mindless thrust against her, painting her pussy and abdomen with my leaking seed. Hella reaches between us to give my length a teasing stroke that sends a jolt of electricity up my spine before aligning it with her entrance. She wiggles her hips, me inside, The sensation feels as if God fire has sent my veins aflame. My fangs burst free as a frenzied snarl tears from my throat. The look in Hella's heavy-lidded eyes soothes the beast in me as she strokes my jaw. Shh. I'll be full of your cum soon, my love. I'm yours. My claws prick her skin as I pin her hips in place, gradually pushing forward until my crown breaches her tight, slick entrance. My cock is even larger in this form, and it would be selfish not to take care. Thankfully, her pussy is already primed, thanks to my shadows and earlier efforts just minutes ago in Moth and Flame. My shadows bloom around us, teasing a clit and the tight peaks of her breasts as I sit back on my heels to gaze at where we are joined. Fuck, I've made a mess of her. Thick puddles of my pearlescent pre-cum glisten against her skin, urging my hips into a steady thrust that eases my length deeper. I'm mesmerized by the way the pink petals of her petite cunt stretch and mold around my intrusive girth. Within moments of my quickening pace and deeper strokes, Hella's nails bite into the flesh of my thighs, her jaw slackening. A cry escapes her, her back arching, her lush tits bouncing. My strokes turn punishing as the beginnings of my own orgasm lick up the base of my spine, demanding I bury my knot inside of her. Oh my God, Draven, yes, yes, yes! That's it, sweetheart. Milk this cock. I'm gonna fill this pussy up with so much fucking cum, she'll be weeping with it for a week. Yes, Daddy, please. My eyes briefly roll into the back of my head as my growls turn to grunts. At the end of each thrust, my knot coaxes her entrance, and I press harder each time. Hella's breath becomes keening, panting gasps as it finally begins to nudge inside. She props herself up on her elbows to watch. My knot glides further, almost to the widest point. So close, so fucking close. Hella's gaze returns to mine, brows pinched with need. I need it, Draven. Give me all of you. As if to punctuate Hella's demand, my knot finally slips all the way inside, and I'm buried to the hilt. The bond between us thumps with a pulse of its own alongside the war drum of my heartbeat. Another snarl tears from my throat as Hella cries out, her pussy milking my cock of thick, hot pulsing ropes of cum. My strokes become languorous. I fucking love you, Hella. Emotion slips free from her eyes, prompting me to close the distance between us. I brace myself on my elbows, framing her head. And I'll thank Akash every god's damned day that you stalked me. A watery grin splits her gorgeous face as she gives a surprised laugh. You don't think I'm insane? I chuckle, my nose grazing her temple before I plant a kiss on her forehead. Kitten, it's one of my favorite things about you. Epilogue. Hella. Later that evening. I've spent my life hiding from everyone I know. Born amongst vipers, I never felt safe enough to express anything other than righteous anger or disgust. And now I've been given the gift of Draven Morainu. I've never been much for religion or its zealots, but I will thank Akash every day for uniting me with my soulbound. Even if he is leading me back into the lair of Lazarus,
the infamous underground crime lord who gave me Draven's name. As it turns out, Lazarus has many allies, including Draven. Little did I know Lazarus was once a reaper alongside him, many years before Draven retired. Dark, busted-out windows observe us like haunted hollow eyes as I scan the abandoned buildings lining the cobblestoned street. Draven, with me molded to his back, cuts the engine of his motorbike and steers us to the entrance of the same warehouse I visited only months ago. There are only 2 people in this world I would trust with my life outside of you. Lazarus is one of them. Still, this place is even creepier at night. Draven chuckles. I brought you for one reason, or else I'd have come alone. Why is that? I want his golems to see you, to know that you belong to me, and that you're a friend of Laz's. A shudder runs through me. Golems. But why? They are his eyes. They have a hive mind and are everywhere in this city. Under Laz's orders, they haunt the same nightclubs as Alistair, and the other serpents slithering around the underbelly of this city. If they see that you are my soulbound and an ally to Laz, they'll always keep an eye out for you too. You're safe, Hella. There'll be another measure of security. If Alistair so much as speaks your name, they'll know about it. My stomach churns even as I steel myself. Draven pats my thigh, signaling me to slide off his bike. He follows, pulling me against his chest. Large hands frame my face as he presses a lingering kiss to my lips. Nothing will happen, kitten. Lazarus will lure Alistair to me, and then he'll be too fucking dead to raise a hand against you. Draven takes my hand, leading me to the warehouse entrance. My heart leaps into my throat as 2 golems step out of the shadows, or thin fucking air, and open the double doors wide for us. Shafts of moonlight spill through the cavernous ceiling as we're led by another golem. They are increasingly rare beings, supposedly animated not by soul but entirely of magic. My eyes roam across the sprawling interior of the warehouse, bouncing from one golem to the next. Some stand sentry, others unpack strange artifacts, while others weave ancient magic through the air and bring new golems to life. It would take an inconceivable amount of magic to sustain such a large army of golems. Access and control over that kind of magic hasn't been possible since before the exiled founded Gothika and the Blackspire Empire. As a sanguinotti, I should be able to will a goblet of blood into my hand as easily as pouring one. Instead, I am only able to manually pour one, like any other Minori, a being with lesser magic. But seeing Draven's magic, and now Lazarus, makes me wonder if perhaps magic is returning to Gothika. The golem leading us comes to a stop, silently gesturing us towards a large table draped in black velvet and cluttered with artifacts. A glowing amber orb floats from above. Behind it stands the notorious crime lord we've come to see. With the exception of his gold prosthetic arm, Lazarus is covered head to toe in tattoos. His eyes blaze an unnatural shade of gold, a color that very nearly matches the preternatural shade of his skin and slightly darker hair. His otherworldly beauty is a contrast to the coldness carving his features, until a knowing grin slides across his face. His deep voice holds the warmth of the sun as he rounds the table to stand in front of us. What a pleasure to see the 2 of you together. I can't help but grin. Yes, thank you for all your assistance. Lazarus' lips twitch with amusement as he extends his gilded synth hand towards us.
My pleasure.
Draven embraces it with both hands. I'm surprised they don't embrace in that typical back-clapping male way. After all, this is one of 3 people Draven trusts. I don't miss the subtle tension in Draven's muscles as I accept Lazarus' handshake, nor does Lazarus, both wearing unreadable expressions. But before any suspicion can grow, Lazarus paints a glittering smile on his face.
Congratulations, Morainu. I have to admit, I envy you.
Draven's arm is a comforting weight over my shoulders. My eyes slide up to see Draven's reaction, and I'm surprised to see a look of unmistakable sadness. Lazarus flexes his hands at his sides, and I notice his flesh and bone hand is covered in a glove made of fine, silvery chainmail.
I take it you've come here to discuss Alistair.
My eyes leap from Lazarus' hands to his eyes, making my cheeks flush at being caught staring. Lazarus offers me a reassuring smile as Draven replies,
You're still in close contact with him?
Lazarus smirks, leaning against the table with arms folded and ankles loosely crossed.
Unfortunately, the male is a thorn in my side. I need you to set up a meeting with him.
Lazarus studies my reaction before gradually nodding.
Consider it done. I just need to tie up a few loose ends before any unfortunate accident befalls him.
My anxiety surges. He's going to send every sentry in Blackspire looking for me, as will my family when they hear from him. Lazarus gives me a look that tells me he knows Alistair better than I do.
No, he won't.
But how? A knowing grin curls a corner of his mouth.
What does Alistair value above all else?
My brows pinch. Power, money, public opinion? Lazarus' smirk blooms wide as he taps one gloved finger on the tip of his nose. My jaw drops as relief and hope wash over me.
Thanks to my golems and all of my nightclub's security footage, I have decades of visual documentation that reveal not only Alistair's methods of conducting business, but also depict him in numerous compromising situations.
My brows leap, and the sympathy that softens Lazarus' features makes me question just how nefarious this male actually is.
Look, I don't know how well you've come to know your husband or his family's ways of doing business, but I can assure you, if any of this information were leaked, the Blackspire Empire's justice system would face collapse. Alistair and his family would be hunted down.
At my slack-jawed expression, Draven smooths my hair back and presses a kiss to my head, his voice a soothing murmur at my temple.
See, kitten, everything's going to be fine.
I frown. Won't that put you in a compromising situation when he learns you have all this dirt on him?
Alistair already knows. I will simply remind him and tell him that you are under my and Draven's protection.
My eyes dance between them in disbelief. But won't he, or his whole family, hunt us down for threatening them? A grin saunters across Lazarus' face, and for the first time since I've met him, I get a glimpse of the malice I've heard horror stories about glinting in his otherworldly eyes.
They are certainly welcome to try.
Laz's eyes slide back to Draven, as they seem to have another silent conversation.
Never a better time than the present.
My stomach knots as I glance between Lazarus and Draven. Pardon? Draven turns me into his chest. His gaze searches mine, causing unease to swirl in my gut. Lazarus and I aren't from here. My brows knit together. Here as in Dreadmere? Here as in Gothika. My jaw drops. You're from another realm? Apprehension bleeds into Draven's eyes as he nods. You're familiar with the exiled? Did I say my jaw dropped? It's now sailing towards the lowest circle of hell. This has been Moth and Flame by Chiara Forestieri. Read for you by El Sanoli.
Welcome back.
Welcome back, lady listeners. Thank you so much to Chiara Forestieri for being here with us today, for bringing us Moth and Flame, I guess I should say. Well, I keep saying it like, thanks for being here. But yeah, no, thanks for bringing us the book. Thanks for allowing us to play your audiobook. We really appreciate it. Make sure you check out all of her new stuff. Check out the ebook for Moth and Flame. And you can follow us on Read Me Romance at on our website or on social media, and we'll have all the links and stuff posted there. And up next week we have oh my gosh, Evie Rose. She gave us an audio to play called Stolen by the Mafia King. Very excited for this one. Very excited.
All right.
That's it. Fuck your day up. Make today your bitch. Don't be a dick.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Read me romance, read me romance, read me romance, read me romance. You could take a look in a book, that's fine, or you could sit back, relax, and unwind and read me romance, read me romance.